If you are over 40 and you are investing and trying to build wealth for financial freedom or early retirement, the traditional advice to save just 10% of your income for 40 years is useless. Let's be honest. You don't have 40 years to prepare for retirement anymore. When I decided that I wanted to retire early, I knew I didn't have 40 years. So, in this video, I want to share what I did to build my portfolio faster and to retire early in my 40s. Welcome back to the channel, Financial Besties. But if you are new here, hey girl, hey. My name is Malika. I am a stock market investor and a money coach. I achieved FIRE and retired early. And now I live abroad on the passive income generated by my investments. And on this channel, I choose to share my experience to help other women invest for their own financial freedom and to make smarter financial decisions without overcomplicating money. So, if that sounds like something you're interested in, I welcome you to subscribe to the channel. When I first started investing, I didn't have plans to retire early. I started out by following the traditional advice that most of you all probably follow. I contributed 10% to my 401k and I just kind of accepted the idea that I would have to work until my 50s or 60s. Back then, I even had a personal finance blog. Hey, girl, hey to all of my OG financial besties. But on this personal finance blog, I shared all of my business. I mean, all of my financial business is probably online somewhere. I shared my debt freedom journey. I shared when I was advancing my career and negotiating my salary. I shared when I bought my first brand new car, analyzing the true cost of ownership and how to analyze, the breakdown of a car to prepare for negotiations at the dealership. I shared when I bought my first house. It was new construction. I had it built from the ground up. I shared everything, even my dating life. But the name of the blog was Fabulous Financials. So that's how my YouTube channel got its name. But as I unintentionally became a part of this personal finance community online, I discovered the FIRE movement. And that is when the early retirement seed was planted in my head. I was like, what do you mean retirement is a number and not an age? Hold on. You mean to tell me I can actually retire when I want to? I don't have to wait until I'm 60 or 65 years old? Yo, when I realized that, it was on. It was on. And I started treating investing like a game. So I will tell you exactly what I did from that moment, the exact steps that I followed to reach financial independence and eventually retire early. This video is part 6 of the Summer Wealth Reset series. It's a conversation I've been having with my financial besties who are rethinking their financial stability and building wealth long term for their financial freedom. If you want to catch up on the prior videos in this series, I will link the playlist so you can watch part 1 through 5 right here. But anyway, as I was saying, most retirement projections, they assume you'll spend 30 to 40 years building wealth, as if everyone starts investing when they're in their early 20s, as soon as they graduate college and get their first real job. But when you are in your 40s, your timeline is already shorter. So you have to be a little more precise and a lot more aggressive in order to hit your goal faster. So once I made the decision that I wanted to retire early, these are the steps that I followed to compress my timeline to less than 10 years. So the first thing I did was define my freedom gap. If you watch part 5 of the Summer Wealth Reset series, I showed you how to define your freedom gap. Just a really quick recap. Your freedom gap is your freedom number, which is based on your annual expenses. Then you subtract your current passive income, and then that gives you your freedom gap. And your freedom gap is your target. It's your financial goal. It's the amount of money that your investments would need to generate each year in order to make up the difference to support the lifestyle that you desire in retirement. So once I had my target, then I had to reverse engineer my target number to find out exactly how much I needed to invest every month in order to fill my freedom gap. So if you want to compress your timeline to under 10 years and fast track your freedom journey, we have to consider the historical stock market returns, and then we also have to make some assumptions. So, first of all, on average, the stock market returns roughly 8 to 10% per year over the long term. Next, the assumptions that we would have to make, we need to estimate the size of the portfolio you'll need. Now, I'm going to use some simple math just for purposes of example. So this isn't guaranteed. It's just a rough estimate to help us reverse engineer the target, right? So using the hypothetical example from part 5 of the series, the target that we came up with, our freedom gap, was $40,000 per year. So doing simple math, dividing a $40,000 income target by the average annual market return of 8% is roughly a $500,000 portfolio. Again, this is not a prediction of guaranteed returns. This is not financial advice either. It's simply a hypothetical estimate that gives us a target to work towards. Okay? So, a $500,000 portfolio growing at 8% per year will generate approximately $40,000 per year in passive income. Now, let's see how much you need to invest to build a $500,000 portfolio. Now, we're going to make another assumption here again. So, based on NerdWallet, the average American household has retirement savings that's roughly $313,000 by the time they reach their 40s. So we're not going to use that number. That number sounds a little high to me. So to be a little more modest, let's assume you have current retirement savings of $200,000 by the time you're in your 40s. So let's use a calculator now to estimate how much we need to invest per month so we can grow our portfolio from 200,000 to 500,000, which is our freedom gap target. Our savings goal, we're going to put the 500,000 here. That's going to be the final target we want to reach. Our initial investment, we're going to assume that we currently have $200,000 in our retirement accounts already. For the growth over time, we're going to assume 10 years or less. And for the interest rate, we're going to assume the average stock market rate of return, which is 8% compounded annually. Now let's calculate how much we need to invest every month in order to reach that 500,000 portfolio balance. All right. This compound interest calculator says if you contribute $392.40 every month over the next 10 years toward your goal, you will have 500,000 in savings. Now, because you want to retire in less than 10 years, let's round up that estimate from $392 per month to $500 per month. Now, you might be wondering, girl, where am I supposed to get an extra $500 a month to invest? I'm glad you asked.